Welcome to the program. The Attorney General has arrested the ruling on his own application seeking to keep acquitted former Maslok CEO Atta Akyea in jail while he pursues an appeal against the decision of the Court of Appeal. The former Maslok CEO remains in custody despite having been acquitted and discharged of the charges leveled against her. Akufo-Addo of our Legal Affairs Desk was in court today and has joined me in the studio with details from the proceedings. Kweku, what happened in court today?
Well, yes, today the order of business was for the three-member panel of the Court of Appeal to deliver their verdict on this very application of the Attorney General that would have seen Atta Akyea kept in custody up until the full determination of the matters before them. But just before the judges would do so, and when it was time for the lawyers, right after the lawyers introduced themselves, the Attorney General's lawyers, that is the state attorneys that represented the department, informed the court that they had withdrawn that application that was seeking to stay the execution of the Court of Appeal's acquittal of Atta Akyea, and that they were not literally interested in pursuing those matters before the court as of this morning, which then meant that the court did not have anything before it to be able to deliver a ruling. On their side, lawyers for Atta Akyea were not opposed because obviously this is someone that has come to court and said, I'm not interested in moving against the application or interested in seeing the end of it. And so they are withdrawing it. And so their only objection was that the particulars of that withdrawal must have come with the leave of the court, for which reason that is the process they thought should have happened. But they were not interested in objecting to that. So ultimately, the judges in this matter decided that there was nothing before them, and then they ruled that the application is struck out as withdrawn, and that has been it. But we know now that the Attorney General has since repeated the application, has filed the same application at the Supreme Court, seeking an order to keep Madam Atta Akyea in jail up until the Supreme Court deals with the particulars of the appeal that has been filed by the Attorney General. Ken.
And you've been speaking to lawyers for Atta Akyea after that. What have they been telling you?
Well, yes, one of the legal members of the legal team, Sydney Antonio, spoke to us right after proceedings. His point was that, listen, they are not opposed to this application. For them, the big issue for them is how they get the accused person out of court. In fact, the now discharged and acquitted Atta Akyea from prison, and they are working their sources, they are working the processes to ensure that Atta Akyea walks out of the jail. Listen to Sydney Antonio.
As we informed you on the day the judgment was delivered, we were beginning the administrative processes for her to be released. So we have done that, and we are waiting. You know, wheels of justice, they move on their own speed and their own pace sometimes. So we are waiting to receive the necessary processes to proceed with her release. But we are working on it, and we are strongly believing that soon she'll be out with us.
So have you had confidence?
You know, the situation in the prisons. But, I mean, we know that what we are doing is for her interest, and she also believes that what we are doing is for her ultimate interest and for ultimate release. So we are on the same page when it comes to the substance of what we are doing.
Well, still in the courts, and Akufo-Addo is still here with me as well. Joy News has secured an exclusive copy of the warrant issued by the Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni authorizing Justice Francis Achibonga to sit as a vacation judge. Well, the document comes amid claims by lawyer for former National Signals Bureau boss Kwabena Edubuahi, Samuel Atta Akyea, that the Chief Justice had specifically handpicked the judge to deal with the particular cases, including that of his client. But the warrant Joy News has secured does not appear to assign the judge to any specific case. And as I mentioned earlier, Akufo-Addo of our Legal Affairs Desk has the details. But first, let's listen to Samuel Atta Akyea.
A vacation judge is handpicked without having in mind whether the two lawyers in the case that he was trying before who agreed to the arrest to work during the arrest time. But here we are, the Chief Justice is saying that, look, you are a vacation judge and try these particular cases. There's no warrant like that ever issued. Do you know what we are saying? The Chief Justice is guiding the cases so that these special ones should be given special treatment during the vacation. This is where my beef is. I'm not saying that the Chief Justice hasn't got the power to appoint vacation judges. But the Chief Justice cannot say that the vacation judges should hear part-head criminal cases, especially these ones.
For the embattled former National Signals Bureau boss, Kwabna Edu Buahe. Akufo-Addo is here with me. You have a copy of that warrant. What does it say? Yeah,
and that claim was made in that interview with you yesterday on Top Story.
Right.
But if you look at the warrant that we've gotten under the hand of the Chief Justice, it reads, and I want to quote, it says, "By virtue of the powers conferred upon me, I hereby authorize you to sit as an additional High Court judge at the Specialized Court 1 Law Court Complex, Accra, during the 2026 legal vacation and conduct hearings. By a copy of this letter, the Deputy Judicial Secretary, Court Manager, Law Court Complex is accordingly notified." So it is general in terms of the practice, and I'm sure if you go to Justice Achibonga's court, he's hearing more cases than the specific of the oral cases that have become the subject of the controversy. It's a very open-ended warrant that does not limit him specifically, as Samuel Atta Akyea had claimed. It talked about hearing cases during the 2026 legal vacation and conduct hearings. It does not limit it to Kwabna Edu Buahe's case or any other oral case for that matter.
Well, Samuel Atta Akyea has also insisted that he informed the judge, Francis Achibonga, that he would not be able to appear before the court to represent his client. But the deputy AG keeps insisting that that has never happened. What do you know?
Yeah, it would appear that perhaps that notice has not come to the attention of the judge because, I mean, again, as Atta Akyea explains to you, usually you cannot write directly to the judge, you write to the registrar. But this specific letter went to the Chief Justice, it was copied to the Attorney General's Department and to the registry. So either the letter has not gone to the registry or it has gone to the registry and the registrar is yet to draw the attention of the judge and put it on record. But also there are different other avenues that this may have gone to the judge. Kwabna Edu Buahe was in court the last time and he could have intimated the specifics, except that he said that he was not aware whether Samuel Atta Akyea was in the jurisdiction or not. But yes, if you listen to, Samuel Atta Akyea, he's clear that in his petition to the Chief Justice, he's copied the Attorney General and he's copying the court registry, and he expected that the letter would have gotten to the presiding judge.
Well, thank you very much. That's Kweku Asante there, giving us the details of that warrant that we have secured here at Joy News. And if you're just joining us, this is The Pulse here in Joy News. We're also live on various numerous social media platforms as well. Well, the first accused person and former chief executive officer of the National Buffer Stock Company, Abdul Hanan, told the specialized division of the Accra High Court that his lawyer, Godfrey Adame, could not appear before the court due to ill health. Yabo Adame had last week petitioned Chief Justice Bafo-Boni, asking him to revoke his warrant, directing that the trial of his client should proceed during the legal vacation. He described the directive as unprecedented and indicated that he would not appear for the trial until the end of the legal vacation. However, in a dramatic twist today, his client, Abdul Hanan, told the court that his lawyer is currently on admission and is in and out of the hospital, explaining his absence. Let's engage Fatau Bayaga, who was in court for us this morning and is joining me in the studio right now. Fatau, Godfrey Adame had earlier indicated that he wouldn't be able to appear before the court, and it was confirmed by his client, Abdul Wahab, today. What else happened in court? Walk us through.
Yes, so Ken, in court today, the only person who was missing was Godfrey Adame, lead counsel for Hanan Abdul Wahab in this particular case. In fact, today was meant for the continuation of the trial with the first prosecution witness seated in court for that to happen. But after the Deputy Attorney General introduced himself and the other lawyers that he came with, the judge, Francis Achibonga, then asked the first accused and second accused, I'm talking about, Hanan and his wife, where their legal representatives were. And then Hanan in the dock basically said that his lead counsel, Akufo-Addo, is currently indisposed. He said he's unwell, and that's the reason he couldn't appear before the court. And in fact, in that particular statement, he prayed to the court that they would need more time, so the judge should adjourn the case, he prayed for a long adjournment so that they would return to court for this particular proceedings to continue.
Well, the Attorney General was represented by his deputy, Dr. Stremsai. He holds a different view. What did he say?
Absolutely, Ken. So for him, he said that he doesn't believe that Akufo-Addo is unwell at the moment because before this today, he had made it clear that he was not going to come to court because of the legal vacation. And he explained that he had personal commitments, and that's the reason he wouldn't come to court. So the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Stremsai, basically said that he doesn't believe that story and told the court to dismiss it and allow the proceedings to continue.
Fatal, don't go yet. Let's bring in Alfred Tuayebua. He's a former Deputy Attorney General. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Right. I'll come back to you pretty shortly, but please don't go yet. I still have Fatal Bayaga in the studio with me. Fatal, what else happened today?
So basically, the trial judge, Francis Apanga Chibonga, he then said that, the client wasn't speaking from the bar. Speaking from the bar basically means that he is not a lawyer and he wasn't represented by any, legal person. So saying that Akufo-Addo is indisposed, among other things, it's difficult to believe that. But then, based on his, personal or his discretion, he would adjourn the case briefly. Briefly means that he would adjourn the case to the, to the 17th of August, where the parties are expected in court for this proceeding to happen. And what is going to happen on Monday would be that the counsel for Hanan, they have filed an application for stay of proceedings at the Court of Appeal. So, and then they want the High Court to stay its proceedings until that particular appeal is determined. So on Monday, the judge said both parties are expected in court so that, Hanan's lawyers will explain to the court why they think that the High Court should stay its proceedings until the determination of that particular appeal.
Thank you very much, Fatal Bayaga. As I mentioned earlier, Alfred Tuayebua is a former Deputy Attorney General. He's joining the conversation right now. Welcome once again, Mr. Tuayebua. First of all, there is a big debate about whether judges should sit on cases during legal vacation. What's your take on that?
Prior to independence, and the process has been, must continue. However, I will agree to a proposal where it can be tweaked to the effect that judges at the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court must equally have vacation judges to attend to urgent matters.
Right. And there are those who argue that this is not the first time that we're seeing cases like these with a legal vacation in place and then judges are sitting. So what makes this so special that we've been hearing confrontational arguments from Samuel Atta Akyea and then also your former boss, Akufo-Addo, who are both representing clients in court?
So what is the established practice? And the practice pre-independence and post-independence has been very simple. Vacation judges are supposed to attend to urgent matters, especially matters relating to the application for bail, matters relating to injunctions, matters relating to the estate of the administration of estates, letter administration, probate, etc., etc. Vacation judges have not been hearing substantive matters, that is, taking evidence and then allowing counsel to also cross-examine witnesses. However, if a vacation judge is minded to hear substantive matters during vacations, the lawyers in the matter are always consulted, and if they have no objection, then a warrant is secured and then the matter is heard during legal vacation. But in this particular instance, we are told that the lawyers were not involved in the decision to hear the matter during the legal vacation. And that's where the problem is.
Well, and it does appear that Samuel Atta Akyea and Akufo-Addo have all taken an entrenched position that they will not appear in court so far as the legal vacation is still in place. Would you advise them they do something else other than the entrenched position that they've taken? Because just yesterday, the case involving Samuel Atta Akyea's client, the judge was explicit saying that if Samuel does not appear in court during the next hearing, the accused person will be forced to cross-examine the prosecution witness. So do you think that the lawyers should take a different approach rather than saying that they are not going to appear in court so far as the legal vacation is in place?
The lawyers have a right that we cannot take it away from them. If the lawyers are very much convinced that their rights and that of their clients are being abused, I do not think that they should sacrifice it and say, because of this, we want to just overlook it and go along with the hearing of the matter. And so if you are to give an example, if a judge says that I'm going to hear your matter 12 hours in a day, and you are a lawyer in a matter, and he tells you that if you do not show up, I'll go ahead and hear the matter 12 hours. As a lawyer, will you still be in court and hear the matter? If you have an objection, you raise it. That's the way that these judges and lawyers have also raised their objections. And so I leave that decision to them, but they are within their right to raise an objection. We are a nation of laws. We are building a society where in the future we can also be looking back to. If there's a decision now to change what we have been observing pre and post independence, there must be a basis. And so if I were counsel in the case, I would have raised the same objections because I was not consulted. There was one particular case that those of you in the media will have to look at, the Hinaku case, Page Capital. That case was conducted during our time. The judge in July realized that there was a witness who was undergoing examination, but counsel for the accused person said he could not finish within that time. The judge then invited both counsel and sought their consent if they were ready to have the matter continue in the vacation for 2 days. The lawyers agreed, and the judge subsequently wrote to the Chief Justice for a warrant to hear that substantive matter for the 2 days in the vacation. That is the established practice. Judges know this practice. Lawyers know this practice. So why the deviation now?
Right. We'll delve more into this, but in another subject related to this, we've been hearing of a private citizen by name Elom Kwame Goni, who has sued the Attorney General, Dominic Ayini, and Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni. He's demanding that the Supreme Court declares the annual legal vacation unconstitutional. What's your take on that? The annual legal vacation, should it be scrapped? Do you even agree with that suit that has been filed by the private citizen?
I mean, I have read that suit. It's an interesting suit. On the face of it, it seeks to attack legal vacation in general for the superior court judges. But if we go deeper into the arguments made by the plaintiff, he's limiting himself to the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. And that's why in his rate, he has looked at CI 19 and the CI 16, but has never touched CI 47. That regulates the High Court as to how they are to conduct their business. And the vacations are also contained in the CI 47. As an earlier on said, the practice now is that Court of Appeal does not have vacation judges. Supreme Court doesn't have vacation judges. But the CJ reserves the right, as and when there's an urgent matter, to issue a warrant for Court of Appeal judge to sit on the specific matter as well as the Supreme Court. That has been the practice. But the suit is now saying that even they should not enjoy the vacation at all. Respectfully, I disagree on that score, but I will agree with the plaintiff to the extent that the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court should also have vacation judges.
Well, today the case involving Abdul Wahab Hanan did not see a lawyer for that case, your former boss, Akufo-Addo, appear in court. Well, he tells the court through his client that he is unwell. But the deputy AG says he's not buying that because even before this confirmation or this information was passed to the court, Godfrey Addo made it explicitly clear that he is not going to appear in court during the legal vacation. I'm wondering, have you heard from your former boss? How is he? Is he fine? What do you know?
By the grace of God, he's faring well today. But let me ask this question. The fact that the former AG, that's the Hanan, his position that he will not appear before the court to hear the matter. Are we saying that the two events are mutually exclusive? Are we saying that the two events, he's saying that he will not be able to appear? And he also stating that, or his client saying that he's not been well, are they mutually exclusive? It is possible for the former AG to say, yes, I will not appear because of this protest. But that does not mean that he cannot force. And so I disagree with the deputy AG when he says that because of the prior statement, it is not true that, or it is not possible that the former AG has not been well. I disagree with him. After all, I know that the practices as the accused person, he may want to have the medical report to indicate that indeed the former AG is indisposed. That one I have no problems with it.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the case where Samuel Atta Akyea is serving as the lead counsel. Now, the court has given the next hearing date as the 17th of August 2026 for the court to reconvene, and Samuel Atta Akyea, as I mentioned earlier, is not budging. Do you think that if Samuel Atta Akyea eventually fails to appear in court during the next hearing, that could lead to an unfair trial?
Mr. Atta Akyea is a seasoned legal practitioner. He knows his staff, and he knows what he wants to do at any particular event. I don't know what he may want to do by the 17th of this month, but if his client goes to the court on the 17th without him, and depending on what his client will say, the court may want to oblige him. Because these matters that we are talking about are very serious matters. If, for example, his client tells the court that my lawyer says he's not coming, and for that matter, I want to engage the service of a new lawyer, can the court go on and hear the matter? And if he's to engage a new lawyer, how long would that new lawyer take to go through the proceedings before he can be continue with the hearing of the matter? That's why I would rather advise that the court should also hasten slowly, give the accused person every latitude. After all, Ghana is not collapsing today. Ghana will continue to be Ghana. And so even if the matter is not heard within this term, it doesn't mean that the accused person will not be in court for his fate to be determined by the court.
Well, we've been hearing from a lot of people within the legal fraternity. Key amongst them is the Ghana Bar Association, who have actually called on the judiciary to halt the conduct of substantive trials during the break. What's your position on that? Do you agree with them?
I agree with the GBA 100%. The judiciary is aware that the position of the GBA is the correct position. I mean, judges cannot talk, but they know that that is the position of the judiciary when it comes to even hearing of substantive matters in the vacation. And so the GBA has sought to remind the Chief Justice that he has the power to grant warrants for hearing of substantive matters in the vacation. But in exercising that power, he should be minded and cast mind back to the established practice. For all you know, if the lawyers had been engaged and reasons advanced, perhaps we wouldn't get to where we are today. Because as I told you, in the Aku case, the lawyers were engaged And they realized that, fine, they should come back in August 2 days to finish the cross-examination because the witness had been in the box and they needed to end his cross-examination. But now we do not even know the reasons why a court of appeal judge, let's listen to me carefully, a court of appeal judge is being made to sit as a vacation judge. The other judge is a high court judge and still has, say, high court judge will sit as a vacation judge. Right. But what business does a court of appeal judge have in sitting as an additional high court judge? That's also one issue we should be interrogated.
Right. Okay, don't go yet. I'll come back to you. But there's one person who actually disagrees with your opinion and that of the Ghana Bar Association. That's the Majority Chief Whip, Roxanne Nelson Daffia-McBall. He spoke on PM Express last night. Let's listen to him.
He's the one complaining. It's not a law firm that is complaining. So first of all, GB has no business in dealing with this matter because the law firms are not members of the Ghana Bar Association. The Ghana Bar Association is constituted by lawyers licensed by the GLC. The law firms, properly so-called, as we call them, chambers, they're also licensed separately by the GLC. So if you got a petition by some law firms, you ought to have written to them that there's a proper forum convenience for them to direct their petition. But I'll deal with the issues. But I am saying that 26 years ago, this matter was determined by the Court of Appeal. Justice Badu said no. Where a judge makes his private arrangements to travel during the vacation, and the warrant of the Chief Justice says that a certain court should sit and hear a matter, you, the party, you appear in court at the peril to the detriment of your case. Because if you don't bring your lawyer, then you must either fire a lawyer and look for a new lawyer, or you call your original lawyer and say that this is the position of the court, and therefore I am looking for a lawyer interim. Do you understand? For the lawyer to stand in for me until such time that you return after pro tem. So the lawyer pro tem can deal with the matter. But the point I'm making is that Atta Akyea has so many lawyers who could have stood in pro tem for him and done a good job and acquit their managing partner in the matter. But he decides to go political.
Well, Justice Sremsai, who's the Deputy Attorney General, speaking to me last night on Top Story, also fought the allegations of selective justice leveled against the Chief Justice.
It is not true that the Chief Justice has listed a particular case and has handpicked a judge to conduct the case. There are 11 courts that have been selected to do vacation courts in the region. Many of these, 8 of them, or I think 9 of them, are not conducting any oral cases. The judges that are conducting oral cases, it is also not true that they are conducting oral cases only. A judge hearing a case will determine whether to hear what proceedings to take. That has nothing to do with the Chief Justice randomly or whatever way selecting a judge to be a vacation judge. That is all what the warrant says. The warrant simply says that you are a vacation judge and therefore sit and hear cases during a vacation. And the judge will decide which cases you should hear on the merits and which cases you should hear on the motion or by summons. Whichever way it is, that is the discretion of the judge.
That's the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Sremsai. Counsel for Kwabena Dubois, Samuel Atta Akyea, however, insists he will not stop at anything to hold the trials, even if it means going to the Supreme Court.
Tell me that when the Chief Justice has given the warrant and the judge informs, the lawyers and the accused persons in an open court, that please, this warrant is not coming from me. The warrant says I should go on to try this case. So if you have an issue, deal with the Chief Justice. The judge said so. You were not in court. It wasn't a matter of hearing notice. It was the judge who said so, that the CJ has given me a warrant to try these cases. So where do we go? You have to petition the judge. So how can you fault us for petitioning the CJ who gave the warrant to the judge? But I respect a lot of things that are going on. But I could tell you from my experience that I will not respect any arrangement in which some cases are special and others are not. That arrangement violates the Constitution, and I'll defend the Constitution with every breath that I have. I'm going to use due process.
Okay.
Is it not right to, first of all, inform a Chief Justice in the petition that, look, Mr. Chief Justice, I hold the view that your discretion has been wrongfully exercised, as to start and kickstart the so-called due process is talking about. Don't I know that I can go to the Supreme Court for declaratory relief? I know what to do. So I'm not going to put my arsenals out there, but I know what to do.
So you're going to the Supreme Court?
I will do everything to ensure that we don't have this aberration as part of our rule of law arrangement. And what is very, very, very funny about this is that do not ever say that Chief Justices can go wrong.
Well, that is Samuel Atta Akyea there. I still have the former Deputy Attorney General with me, Alfred Tuah-Yeboah. Mr. Tuah-Yeboah, you've been listening to those remarks by your successor, the Deputy Attorney General. He's been refuting claims made by Samuel Atta Akyea that the judges were selectively handpicked by the Attorney General to sit on these cases, or by the Chief Justice to sit on these cases. Well, they've refuted that, and we also have a copy of the assigning of these judges. First of all, is there a possibility that such an incident can even happen in the first place?
It is not in doubt that it is the Chief Justice who selects the judges who sit as vacation judges. That's not in doubt. But as to what they do is where the issue is.
Okay.
The learned Deputy AG, I think, is also aware that vacation judges, as we all know, as I said, pre-independence and post-independence, they are there to do urgent matters. If he were to be on, I would have asked him, at least I know that he's about 16 years or maybe 15 years as a lawyer or thereabout, whether he has ever, in his practice, conducted a hearing in any high court during the legal vacation. If he did so, the next question would be, what was the arrangement?
Okay, sorry to cut you, but I asked him that question yesterday, and he said that this case wasn't about him, so he refused to answer that question, just by way of information.
He'll refuse to answer because the obvious answer is that a lawyer in vacation does not hear a substantive matter if he has not agreed with his other colleague to hear the matter during legal vacation. That's why maybe he didn't offer you the answer. I mean, all these arguments about vacations and whatever, the key question is, what is a vacation judge expected to do? He is expected to attend to urgent matters. And this is not in doubt. I think respectfully, if you had the Chief Justice, give you the same answer. That's their job. And so now, if you want lawyers to take part in hearing of substantive matters, we lawyers and judges, we always say that we are very conservative. We have our practices that we cherish. What has been the practice? And that's what I told you. The lawyers must be involved. And if in these two or three or four matters, if the lawyers were involved, I can assure you, perhaps the reasons that may be offered may to some extent be accepted to some of the lawyers. Because if, for example, there is a witness who is undergoing examination, the witness is very old and sick, and if you risk that the matter be adjourned into October, it's possible the person may even pass away. Any reasonable lawyer may say, yes, in view of this, can we hear the matter in the vacation? In fact, there are thousands, if not 10,000s, of cases pending before the High Court that if some lawyers also had the latitude, they want to say, let's hear these matters, especially civil matters.
Right.
People have had injunctions slapped on their properties. The violence that they've been doing. And these matters, anytime getting into July, we throw them into October. So that's why the issue of selectivity has been very paramount. So why the oral cases, as the Deputy AG wanted us to believe? Is it also possible that if we not fight it in the future, the CJ may say, go to court on Saturdays and Sundays, because that is the warrant that person is issuing? We must be careful. We must be very, very careful. Today, you may think that it suits you, and so lawyers should be rushed into hearing the matter, whether they like it or not, during legal vacations. But you don't know what will happen tomorrow. You must be very, very careful.
I would want to find out from you as well, have you ever been compelled to go to the court to defend a client during the legal vacation?
Not at all. Not at all. At least I've been a lawyer for the last 24 years. Not at all. I mean, I've been handling murder cases. And you know, murder cases tried by jury. Sometimes you get into July, you're in the middle of the case. Left to you, you should be able to finish your case so that, I mean, your client will know his fate. But I just will tell you, let's go into October. If in jury trials, where if one of the jurors dies, you have to start the case de novo. Judges adjourn such cases into the new legal year. And so if you are introducing the system, then it must be across the board. The CJ may want to say, all judges with warrants can hear their substantive matters. You conduct your investigation throughout the country and find out whether all the judges with the warrant throughout the country will be conducting substantive matters. It's only these two courts which are going to conduct hearings in substantive matters. And that is the reason why people are talking about selectivity.
Well, the case of Samuel Atta Akyea, for instance, he says that he's formally written to the judge declaring why he cannot be in court during the legal vacation and calling for it to be postponed until after the legal vacation. When I spoke to the Deputy Attorney General yesterday, he said that nothing of that sort has been written to the judge, but instead it came to the office of the Attorney General, and the Attorney General found that excuse a bit frivolous. So let's look at the procedure. If you are a lawyer and you're unable to make it to court, how do you formally inform the judge? Through what means?
Yeah. You write to the judge through his registrar. It doesn't get to him directly. It gets to the registrar. So where is the deputy AG getting information from? Has he spoken to the court registrar to find out whether indeed he has received such a letter? Is the registrar who can say, yes, we've not received any letter. By the AG talking about the registrar having not received that letter is very rich and very curious. He doesn't work with the judicial service, so he cannot speak for the judicial service. They should speak for themselves.
In all of this, your party, the MPP, released a statement yesterday saying that this is selective justice being applied by our judicial system, and that this is a prime example of political interference in our judicial system. Do you agree with the MPP when they say that?
I agree with my party to the extent that other cases in the country are not being heard during the legal vacation. And so if you have people who belong to a political party and are former appointees and are being prosecuted under the rubrics oral, and that they are to go to court and have the case heard in vacation, we are justified as a party to say that there's an aspect of discrimination and selectivity. I agree with my party.
Okay. In all of this, do you think this will set a very dangerous precedent for future legal cases, all that is happening?
Yes, if we are not able to deal with it carefully, it may serve as a dangerous precedent, and then you may have another Chief Justice who may also say that hear cases on Saturdays and Sundays. But if we're all to go by what we have in our rules, for example, if you take the CI 47, that has provisions on legal vacation. If you take Order 79-1, it talks about the CJ having the power to issue warrant for case to be held in vacation, and as the circumstances required. So the emphasis, circumstances required. And so in exercising a discretion under this provision, it's expected the CJ should give the circumstances why he thinks that a particular matter should be heard. But we are not getting it. If you're not getting it, you will be right in also coming out with why we think that it's not fair. And so moving forward, we need to also have it. For example, the CJ may say, or a judge may say, I'm going on this matter because of A, B, C, D. That one, people will not fight so much. But as we have it now, that circumstance require element, threshold. We do not know it.
Let's look at the case involving your former boss, Godfrey Addo, who now says that he's indisposed because of ill health. There are those who are arguing, then can't he delegate some of the lawyers within his law firm to continue with the case? Is there a possibility like that?
I mean, today what happened in court, the reporter was in court, and from the information that I have, Hanan, who happens to be Godfrey Dame's client, told the court that Mr. Dame has not been well. 2, he also knows that Mr. Dame last week or so wrote a letter to the Chief Justice and have not received a report from the Chief Justice. 3, the other lawyer who has been coming or been handling the matter of Godfrey Dame currently is also in Akufo-Addo to engage in the marking of law school, exams. All these things were made available to the court. So the gentleman who has been becoming isn't present. And that's what happened in court.
Atta Akyea, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. He's the former Deputy Attorney General. Well, still to come on this program, we'll examine the environmental and economic implications of Ghana's proposed consumers. That's what's coming up after the break. Welcome back. The countdown is on as the Environmental Protection Authority intensifies its nationwide campaign to phase out styrofoam products in Ghana following a presidential directive. Well, the ban takes effect from the 1st of January next year. Government says the policy is aimed at tackling plastic pollution, protecting public health and resetting Ghana's environmental management system. But for manufacturers, distributors and consumers, the transition comes with serious economic questions. What happens to jobs, businesses and livelihoods tied to these products? And are affordable alternatives readily available? So on the pause this afternoon, I put those questions to the test. What will Ghana pay to implement the ban, and what economic and environmental gains can it deliver? Countries including Rwanda and Kenya have taken similar steps. What lessons can Ghana learn from the experience? To help me unpack the policy, its cost, enforcement and expected benefits, I've been joined in the studio by Hope Smith-Lomote. He's the Director of Human Settlement at the Environmental Protection Authority. Hope, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Let's begin with the basis.
Yeah.
Why did EPA decide that they are going to enforce this ban on the 1st of January next year?
Yeah, thank you very much. The issue about polystyrene products. Polystyrene products that we are looking at, they are components of the single-use plastics. And when we refer ourselves to the National Plastic Management Policy, that was launched way back 2020. Okay. It is stated clearly with the roadmaps, what we are supposed to do, what we should achieve, as and when. So we are just unrolling the roadmap that has been established, that has been launched, and all of us put our effort into it. So 2027, God willing, 1st January, there is going to be a total ban on polystyrene products in Ghana.
Okay.
So that is one of the roadmaps that we are trying to look at. So the campaign has started way back 2020. Even 2025, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, 5th of June, made a categorical statement at the World Environment Day that coming year, which is 2026, there will be the work plan or activities leading to the ban of the styrofoam. So we are just moving by that particular directives, and we have reached a point that come 1st January 2027, there will be a total ban on polystyrene products in Ghana.
So one will ask, what are polystyrene products? What are they?
Yeah, we would like to look at the scope of this polystyrene product. It includes styrofoam packaging material, what we commonly called takeaway pack.
Right.
The one we buy, the fried rice and all those, the takeaway packs are part. The foam, the mattress that they use the styrofoam to do are part. The ceilings that they use polystyrene ceilings are part. Those that they use to package cooling materials are part. If you look under your speaker right in the studio, you can see a packaging material there under the speaker. That is styrofoam. All these are parts. They are all going to be banned. Whereby when you buy some of these products, they use it to protect the products, breakable products and co. They will no more be used. So these are the scope of the polystyrene product. So maybe some people will be asking, we even use some of these for vaccine transportation and other research products. It is true. We will get, during the conversation, we will get some of the windows that are there for the public to take advantage of.
How has sensitization been so far?
Oh, it has been good so far. We've done a lot of sensitization. We've engaged the importers of these polystyrene products on several occasions. We had a lot of engagement, and they are okay. They understood that it is important that we do the shift and get to the alternatives. We've engaged the manufacturers, we've engaged the hoteliers, the restaurant operators, the vendors, the market women, and schools. These are the users of this polystyrene product. They have been engaged, and the engagement will still continue till December 31st. So that 1st of January, we will have a successful ban of polystyrene products in Ghana.
Engagement is one thing, the response is another. Are people responding positively or otherwise?
Very, very positive. You remember the one we did in Accra?
Right.
There was a float in Accra through some principal streets. Also, Oxford Street was one, the Independent Avenue, all the Blaster Square to Makola. And all the women the food vendors, any person you approach, some of them said we should have done this it's long overdue. Should have started yesterday, should have started last year, but it's better than never. So the response is very good. Lots of people, anywhere we go, any radio station, TV station, media house that we go, people who do phone calls, they always, everybody supporting it. The manufacturers themselves are supporting it. The users are supporting it. All of us, we are all supporting it so that we can have a total ban, God willing, 1st January 2027.
Right. Let's look at the effects of polystyrene on, first, our health. How dangerous is it to our health?
Yeah. So polystyrene has a public health effect on all of us. Anytime polystyrene gets in contact with acid, hot temperature, and oily food, and most of these are the things that we put into the styrofoam, for example. We put hot food into the product, the packaging material. We put oily shito, and your stews are oily and acidic. Some people do the fruit salad. They put all this. Anytime you get into contact with these items, the acid, hot product, and oily product, it releases the styrene into the food. And it leaks into the food, and we consume it. And bear in mind, this product can stay in the environment for about 100 years.
Wow.
It does not decompose, it does not digest. So if I take it, after leaching it to my system, it will be in my system. I will die, it will still be in my body for 500 good years. And even research has established that they found some of these microplastics in the placenta of some women. That is how alarming the whole thing has become. Some people try to burn it. As you burn it, it releases fumes. And the fumes are also carcinogens that are not good. They cause cancer of all sorts. And it's so light that any wind can blow it so easily. So where does it go? it flies into the drains, choke the drains. Anytime it rains, the drains are choked. The water cannot move at the rate it's supposed to go. It blocks it. Try to increase the rates of flooding. And finally, these products or this waste find themselves in the aquatic environment, in the ocean, in the sea. And because it does not decompose, what happens? It may be either break down, but does not decompose. Aquatic animals like the fishes also go and eat it. And me and you, we say, let's eat a lot of fish. We go and consume this fish, and it is in the body of the fish. It does not decompose, it does not digest, and we also eat it. So you can see the chain. You will sit in your office. That's for me, I'm not part of it. There, it's on your table. It's in the restaurant. It's going around. It's coming back. You are not part of the people who dispose this styrofoam or this polystyrene product, but it comes back to you. You eat it. They break in a certain level that you don't see. We call them microplastic.
Yeah.
And so you put it under very high resolution microscope. You can never see it. You can get water, and you will think that water does not contain it. It contains it.
Wow.
So it's in your system. It does not decompose, does not break down. And you can see the health implication that me and you are faced. And we have reached a point, a lot of research has been done, because some people will ask why we sat down for all this while. You cannot just get that one day that I would like to ban something. You need to do a lot of research, a lot of things have to come into the thinking. We have gotten to the point that we have established it that now it's time for polystyrene products to be banned totally in Ghana. That's why we have reached this point. So we are doing the education, we are doing the publicity, the engagement, so that come 1st January 2027, we'll all be at the same level that we'll ban it totally from the environment. Nobody is importing it, nobody is manufacturing it, nobody is selling it, nobody is using it. We can have Ghana free of polystyrene products.
I think the health implications are scary, especially for the fact that you cannot see the things that are in it with your naked eyes. You mentioned that it can cause some type of cancer, but apart from cancer, what else what other health implication are you likely to get if you consume polystyrene products?
Because it does not decompose, it does not digest. You can see the implication. Something that cannot decompose or digest in your system, what do you think it's going to do to you?
It's going to stay there forever.
It's going to stay there. It's going to block certain things that it doesn't have anything to do with biological components. Yeah. Man is made of biological components. So when I take sand, I take wood, I'm safe.
Yeah.
The wood, the sand, I can react quickly with it. But styrofoam will remain in your system forever and ever. You will die, it is still in your system, because it can be there for about 500 years. It can be in the environment. So looking at it, if you even burn it, the fume is still there.
Yeah.
You put it in water, it's still there. Just put hydrocarbon on any styrofoam product. It will become like a glue. It will become sticky. That is what happens when acidic or hot products, they leach into the food. That is what the picture we are trying to present to the public. So in your home, you can put petroleum products on any styrofoam product, and you see what will happen.
Right.
That is what is happening.
Right.
Anytime you eat from these styrofoam containers, this is what you are doing to yourself indirectly. You are not even doing it one day. You have been doing it for all these years. So you can imagine the magnitude of the harm that we have caused to ourselves. So it is enough, is enough. Let's save ourselves. Let's save generation yet unborn. Let's save the environment.
That is very scary. So for people who have no idea about the polystyrene that he's talking about, that's what you can see in our background. An example of a styrofoam, yeah. The one that we probably call take-away pack. And then let's come to the environmental harm it does, because you've mentioned that it doesn't decompose. So usually what we see people do is that they burn this. That's even worse, isn't it?
Yeah, it's worse. You burn it, it's worse off. You leave it, it's worse off. So it's not supposed to be there. When I leave it, wind will blow it, and it will find itself anywhere. It can enter the drain, water body, the aquatic animals will consume it. It will bounce back to you. When you burn it, it will release the fumes. Where is it going? It's coming back to you. You are breathing it. And air pollution or pollution doesn't know boundaries.
Yeah.
You will think, oh, it's not me. It is coming back to you. So we better get to that point and we say enough is enough.
Yeah.
Therefore, we have reached a decision point. We have decided, and we are doing this campaign and advocacy, that we need to ban it totally come 1st January, because health-wise it's not good, environmentally it's not good, and it's social, even aesthetically.
Yeah.
It makes the environment doesn't look nice.
I agree with you.
Let's take it out of the system. Somebody will ask, are we sure that when we take it out of the system, the environment will be clean? It will be cleaner. At least a component is out. We can now focus on the other single-use plastics, like the sachet water, the black polythene bags, those single-use plastics. When we take them off, it will rain. We are not saying the storms won't come.
It will.
The flood won't come. But the magnitude, the impact will reduce. And you will not see water moving with the styrofoam, with the single-use plastic, flowing with them. The water will be flowing. But all these things will be things of the past. If you look at this on the screen, it's full of this single-use plastic.
Yeah.
Styrofoam, for that matter.
Oh, my goodness.
All over. So when we take this out of it, the storm will come, the water will flow, but it will be flowing without the styrofoam, without the polystyrene product. It may flow with some biological components that are they will decompose. When they come in contact with moisture, they will definitely decompose. But styrofoam, polystyrene will come in contact with this product, they will still be in the environment for years. That is the fear we are all looking at.
It's scary, because if you look at the waste, the average waste of people, most of them contain polystyrene products, right? The average waste that people dispose of every day. And if you look at our drains also, especially the gutters, the choked gutters and all that, most of them are filled with polystyrene products.
That's the situation where we find ourselves.
Yeah, just look at what we see on the TV.
If you look at this picture or this video going, if we take the styrofoam, the polystyrene, the single-use plastic, you can say our problem will be more than half solved.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then we have the issue of flooding. And these polystyrenes choke our gutters, and then it ends up flooding, doesn't it?
It increased the rates of the flood. If we take it out, it will reduce the rates at which flooding occurs. These days, a little rain, flood. But when we remove some of these things from the system, I believe that the rate at which flooding occurs will reduce significantly.
And then also, that means that even if it stays in the environment, this is just me asking, if it stays in the environment, does it have any effect on the crops that we even grow? Does it affect it?
That's why I say if it's in the environment, it's there for a very long time.
Yeah.
For about 500 years. So let's take water body. It's still in the water body for all these years. There are aquatic animals in the water body. They will consume this, and it will get back to who? To me and you. We'll eat the fish, and we'll still be taking this polystyrene product, which will not digest.
Yeah.
Let's go to the soil. It is still in the soil. It is there. It will not decompose. And you can see the fertility of that soil. Somebody decided the way it is now, let me burn it. So he has burnt. It is still in the fume. The air is polluted. You are not seeing it. However, it contains this product and you are going to breathe. Nobody wants to get to a point that we have to go and buy oxygen cylinder at our back because the air is too polluted. I don't want to breathe that air.
Yeah.
So let's try our best. Protect the soil, protect the air, protect the water bodies. Then we can live in a safer environment. Let's
look at the likely economic impact, because this polystyrene that we talk about is a multi-billion-dollar economy around the world, and even in this country, we have people who engage primarily in the distribution, sales, and purchase of these polystyrene products. Now that we are phasing them out completely from the 1st of January next year, what becomes of them? What happens to them?
Yeah, let's look at the benefits that we gain. Let's look at the health benefits. You say, when we look at an animal doesn't see the importance of its tail until it's cut. Look at the amount of money people spend to treat certain diseases that can be avoided. So when we prevent some of these things, are we not saving economically? Look at the health benefit that you gain, the financial benefit that you gain if you are able to protect yourself from these pollutants, from this styrofoam, this polystyrene product, that you don't get these public health effects that will affect you, the cancers and all these things that we can suffer from. So economically, yes, we are going to gain benefit, we are going to benefit, we are going to protect our health. The manufacturer will say, this is what my system has been designed to manufacture. That's why we have engaged them, and we are looking at the retooling of some of the system. You cannot say the whole production line has to be changed. No. The structure will still be there as a warehouse structure. The machine, some components definitely has to be changed. But these people who are manufacturing this polystyrene product, the styrofoam and all the foams and co, they can still manufacture the foam. They can still do the mattresses, alternative mattresses, that they don't use the polystyrene product. They can still do the packaging,
right,
but not the one with the polystyrene. There are some packaging, when you look at them today, you would think is also a styrofoam. It is not styrofoam. It is similar, but it is not. I wish I should have brought one to the studio so that whether you can even see the difference. They look similar. There is a takeaway pack produced from this thing, sugarcane chaff. When you look at it, it looks similar, but it is not a styrofoam, it is not a polystyrene product. So that shift is what the manufacturers are doing. They are shifting to the other alternatives. Alternatives have been there even long before the polystyrene came. Polystyrene came to close the gap of convenience. We want to live that convenient life.
Yeah.
I want to eat without washing my hand.
Yeah.
I want to eat without washing my bowl. I want to eat and I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Well, what was our great parents doing before we even came that we are looking for convenience? They were eating from bowls, they were eating from earthenwares, they were eating from leaves, and they were healthier. The leaf even gets some nice aroma. When you are eating wache from this leaf, have you ever eaten wache from a leaf before?
I have, so many times.
Did you get some additional flavor?
Yes, in fact, to be honest.
When you were eating from the styrofoam one too, did you get the same flavor?
No.
So you can see we who think we are doing convenience, we are missing certain things. And we are rather buying certain things that are sickness to ourselves. So the bowls are there. Metal bowls, glass bowls, earthenwares, they are still there for us to use and reuse. You use it and wash it and reuse. They are there for us. The leaves are there. We can use the leaves. They are there. And these are things that we need to do. They're reusable. They are packaging things that we can use so that we can have that shift from the village life, I will call it.
Right.
Let the village life come back. The village life was the best life that our great parents live. They live longer, and look at today. We say convenience, we say technology, we say our industrialization, and we are shifting from good to harm.
Well, let's still stay on the likely economic impacts and the trickling effects that it is likely to have on this industry. You've mentioned that those who currently manufacture rubber products can venture into different aspects like foam and all that, but
not necessarily they should venture. Let's say you have been manufacturing.
Diversify.
You are not even diversifying. You are still doing the same thing. Let's assume you were producing takeaway pack. The only thing is that you were using styrofoam to produce the takeaway pack. And we are saying shift from that raw material to environmentally friendly alternative raw material. That's all we are saying. We are not saying don't produce takeaway pack. Go ahead and produce your takeaway pack. But the raw material should not be
sourced from
polystyrene.
Right.
You can use other. And the raw materials, people have started this production. We are even using them. This is the when you go to hotels and these big restaurants, they are no more using the styrofoam. They are using paper. They are using the sugarcane fiber takeaway packs. And those, they are good.
But the fear too is that means it's going to get expensive because the paper bag.
I'm here to allay that fear. This is demand and supply.
Right.
It's because styrofoam products are produced in numbers. So the demand is high, supply is high. What will happen? The price
will come down.
Today, the alternatives are in lower demand,
right.
They are in lower supply. After the shift from 1st January, you can see a lot of people will now be producing the alternatives. And what will happen? The demand will be very high, the supply will be high, the price will definitely drop. Let me give this example. The days of nose masks.
Yeah.
No nose masks. There was a time you need to order in advance before you can get your own. But today, nose masks, they are even giving it out free of charge in some places.
Yeah, that's true. It was very expensive when it came out.
So that is how it is. So when we start the shift from 1st January, the demand will definitely shoot up. The supply will be high. The price will definitely. But for now, the price is just a little higher than the styrofoam, just because the demand and the supply are low. However, if you look at it critically, the difference in the prices cannot be equal to the health benefit that you get.
Yeah.
The difference between takeaway pack, the styrofoam one, and the alternative is about 1 or 2 cedis. How much will you take car from here to Kolebu to treat cancer? The pain you go through, the time you have to spend there, the queue you join. When you put it together, which one is cheaper? Which one is cheaper? You give me an answer.
We all know the answer.
Very good. So the public
is prioritized.
Let's all come on board, move to the alternatives because it will save our health. To save our health.
Right.
To save our health.
Right.
Health first.
The wache you were talking about, there we have it.
That's
the wache in the leaves.
And the flavor
it has a very interesting flavor.
Yeah, very interesting flavor.
Not just wache, we also have kenke, rice, and even some serve beans and plantain in this.
So it's very nice. Let the village life come back.
Yeah.
It was a nice experience. Let's all move to this. And then we will
But you know, how to get these?
It's very common.
Is it?
It's very, very common.
This is plantain leaves.
It's very, very common.
Right. Okay, so now that we are banning the polystyrene completely and encouraging people to use items
like the paper.
You
look at this one.
Yes,
this is not polyester.
This
is the alternative.
Yeah, it looks just like a styrofoam, but
like,
it's not.
It's not.
What measures are you putting in place to help in a way that it becomes easily accessible to manufacturers and then eventually to consumers? Are you doing that?
Yeah, we are doing that. As I told you, we have engaged the importers, the manufacturers, and the users. So people have already started, even it's in the system, they are importing, some are manufacturing it. So apart from the leaves, all these are manufactured. People have started manufacturing it in quantity. People have started importing it in quantities. So there won't be any problem or shortage whereby after 1st January, somebody will say, I wanted to buy packaging material like this, I don't have. They will be all over. They are already there. So we have done the engagement and we are good to go. And the public should be rest assured that there will not be any issue of being it's scarce to get the alternatives. They are all available. People are manufacturing them.
Right. There are manufacturers who have the raw material for producing polystyrenes that are in abundance, that will even exhaust in about 2 or more years. What happens to them if the ban eventually comes to effect next year? What happens to them? Because that means that all the goods that they have, the raw materials, will have to go to waste. What do they do?
Yeah. I said earlier that this thing started way back 2020. Today we are in 2026. How many years?
That's 6.
6 good years.
Yeah.
So we have done a lot of research, a lot of consultation, and we have studied the cycles, importation cycles, manufacturing cycles. And the maximum that we got is between 3 to 4 months, which means that as an importer who imports these styrofoam products, the maximum is about 4 months. When he imports consignment A, consignment B will be coming maximum 4 months. A manufacturer, the same thing, we study the cycle.
Right.
And those who even do the stocking, the suppliers, the maximum we got is between 3 to 4 months, which is telling you that there is no way you can stock your warehouse with polystyrene products more than 4 months if you are a business person. There is no way. There is no way that you can be importing polystyrene product for 4 good months.
Right.
It's still there. It's not possible. It's not practical. And this campaign that we started 6 years ago, last year we intensified it. This year we are still intensifying it. Even from now up to 31st December, it's still more than the 4 months that we are referring to. So there is no way that as an importer, as a manufacturer, as a supplier, you will say time has beaten you. However, in case by 1st of January, you still have some of this product in stock, come to EPA, give us the list of the product that you have. EPA will take over and dispose it for you in an environmentally friendly manner.
Just like that, they don't get anything in return?
You know, disposal of products passes through a process. And when you go through the process, you definitely can go to your VAT, your income tax and those things. You can process them with your disposal certificates. However, we don't even foresee that it's possible that you can still have a product unless you wait 31st December, then you are not importing. Or you wait 31st December, then you go to a manufacturer who is doing reduce to clear. The price is so low and you go and buy it 31st December. Or you go to a market that 31st December, reduced to clear. It's 1 cedi, 1 cedi. And you look at it, is that not something I used to buy 10 cedis? They say 1 cedi, so let me buy it. I'm buying all. Such a person, I think maybe you are the one we are referring to.
Yes.
Somebody has a problem and he brought it to you and you welcome it. If you have such a thing, bring it to EPA for disposal. But we don't even foresee that there can be such a situation. But in case such a thing happens, we have put measures in place. In case you even go through the illegal borders, we have put all those measures in place to handle the situation.
Okay, so you say that it's not possible to have raw materials for the production of polystyrene products for 2 years. The maximum is 4 months.
4 months.
So let's assume that somebody imports products in October, September, which is just next month, November.
Yes.
Would you allow it? What will you do? Would you work with our ports to ensure that that window, nobody is going to import raw materials used for the production of polystyrene products? Or will you confiscate them if they eventually make it to our borders?
Yeah, so the issue is that that's why we are doing the engagement with the port authorities, the customs, and all these people are involved, and the industry players, the manufacturers and co. So why do you even wait? October, November, now you are placing order of polystyrene products. That means you want to try the law. I think that's the meaning of such a person who waited. You know your import cycle is 4 months maximum. But within 1 month, you are now placing order for your product to come to Ghana. That one, you can't clear it at the port. Before you clear this product, you need a clearance from EPA in the system. Yeah. There is a system at the port. Before you clear any product, the styrofoam, the polystyrene, now, you cannot just get up, import it, and clear it. You need to go through the system before you clear it. And EPA is there. So when you bring it November, December, you want to clear it, it will not clear. So why do we even venture or try the law? It will not work. So that's why this engagement has started way back, 2020, 2025, we intensify it, 2026, we are intensifying it so that we don't have this problem. However, come 1st January, if you still decide to bring it, you cannot clear it at the port. You decide to go through the illegal, how you brought it to the country,
right.
It will be confiscated. It's in your warehouse, it will remain in the warehouse. But when we get to know, that's why we say, bring it for environmentally friendly disposal. You will still have it in the market, you cannot use it. That's all we are saying. But we don't want to get there. We are preventing something.
Right.
We don't want to get a situation that now EPA is moving from one factory, confiscating. We don't want to get there. And we have worked with the industry for a lot of years ago, and it has worked successfully. This is not the first thing that EPA is banning. EPA has banned the use of plastic in lining cement. You know, some factories were using plastic to line their cement, if you can remember. People were putting cement in plastic bags in Ghana. I cannot mention names. However, you know it. But today, nobody is doing that. Everybody is using paper. It was successful. We engaged the industry. They buy into the idea, and they have all stopped. You remember lead in fuel, lead in petrol. You can cast your mind back. There was the time that Ghana, we add lead to our petrol. And lead was found in the blood of some people who were by the roadside, those who control traffic, the police. Research was conducted by EPA, and we have seen that lead is also a heavy metal that can be in your blood for as long as it can be. So lead has been removed from petrol today. Nobody is complaining, or compliance level was so smooth, and we are all fine today. So we have that hope that styrofoam or polystyrene products come 1st January 2027 is going to be very smooth, very smooth. So no fears. The public has accepted it.
Right.
And we are moving in that direction.
I like the fact that you said that the public have accepted because they are the biggest stakeholders.
With the little that we have done so far,
okay.
The Makola campaign, the Oxford Street campaign, even any radio station, TV station that you go, the calls that come, people are ready for it. And we are still going to continue. We are moving now to Kumasi, Ashanti region.
Okay.
We'll be getting to Tamale, moving to Sekandi Takrady. We'll be landing at the border, Aflao border.
Okay.
So we are all over. Our regional officers are all over. They are on the ground. The campaign is so intensive. It's here I am today. Others are also at other stations. In schools, they are there. Markets, they are there. So it's all over. So just go to the street. Just interview some few people. Out of 10, you hear whether all the 10 don't know that styrofoam, polystyrene products is being banned in Ghana. They are aware and they welcome it.
Let's look at, before we look at that, why haven't you as EPA ensured that, as we speak right now, we're in the 8th month of the year, that no more importation of raw materials used for the production of polystyrene? Why haven't you done that?
That is what we are doing. I told you we have engaged the importers. We have engaged the manufacturers. So importers are aware that they are not supposed to import, looking at their import cycle. The manufacturers are aware, and they have accepted. So if you are not an importer, if you are not a manufacturer, you will be saying something else. But the one who is importing, the one who is manufacturing has been engaged, and we are moving at that. So if the importer doesn't bring it, the manufacturer doesn't manufacture, I don't think you can get it to use.
Right.
Thank you.
Let's look at the alternatives. We can see very beautiful paper containers here, and then, of course, our traditional leaves that we use. I asked you earlier how readily accessible and available they are. For example, so these ones, how do you get them? Where do you get them from?
It's in the market. It's all over. The way those who are selling the styrofoam, they are selling all this. So when you get to the market, you want to buy. For now, you have the choice whether you buy this or this, but we recommend you to buy the alternative now. Start buying the alternatives so that by 1st January, it won't be like, hey, I'm moving to something. Start by. We have not totally banned the styrofoam for now. That will be 1st January. However, as a consumer, start the shift now. So that 1st January, it won't be like the shift is too fast for you. Start buying it. It's all over. Anywhere they are selling styrofoam, they are selling the alternatives. It's all over.
Well, there are concerns that even with paper containers like this and alternatives for styrofoams like this, there are an element or some elements of plastics that are used in the production of these ones.
Which of the papers they use plastic to? Which of them? This paper?
Well, not that I'm aware of, but for example, tissue, for example, we got to find out that there are some linings in the tissue that are plastic materials, and then also some of these containers, some of them are not 100% non-styrofoam products as well. So how is the EPA going to ensure and enforce that the raw materials that are used, if the ban eventually comes in place, are 100% non-polystyrene products?
Yeah,
you see, there can be a mixture.
It's 100% non-styrene product. So you cannot, you see, before you manufacture in Ghana, you need EPA permits. Before you import, you need EPA permits. So all these manufacturers are getting EPA permits before they manufacture, before they import. So there is no way you can get EPA permit to import alternatives. Then you'll be doing something else. Or you want to manufacture the alternatives, then you decide to be fast or outsmart the system. There's no way. EPA will get you. Because we take samples at random and we do checks. So won't it be so dangerous for you that upon taking a sample, it has been found out that what you are manufacturing is just polystyrene in disguise, and your name, your reputation, your factory, your investment, and the penalty that comes with it. So I don't think any manufacturer will risk himself to that extent that we are banning polystyrene products, and he is ready to move to alternatives with the intention that I will be doing the alternative, however, not a complete alternative. It's a styrofoam in disguise. I don't think any manufacturer or importer will go to that extent. No.
I and other people foresee that enforcement of this will be very difficult for the EPA to do alone. Would there be a collaboration between the EPA and other agencies to ensure strict compliance and enforcement of this ban when it comes to effects in January?
EPA, we don't manage the environment alone. It's a collaborative effort. If you even look at our logo, we do it together. So EPA does not manage the environment alone. We do it in collaboration with other stakeholders. So other stakeholders are who? The media is one. The manufacturers are our stakeholders. The customs and other regulatory bodies, Standard Authority, Food and Drugs Authority, all these stakeholders come in play. So the engagement that we are talking of, we have engaged all these stakeholders, and they are all in line, and we are doing as such. So the fear that it's not going to work, it is going to work. The issue about enforcement, the environmental health officers who are all in every district, every community, are all on board for the enforcement so that we make sure that come 2027, we'll have Ghana free of polystyrene product. That one, I can assure you that the enforcement is solid, the team is solid, and we Ghanaians, we are people who comply. We all know that the thing is causing harm to us, and we are bought into the idea. So I don't think after 1st January 2027, some of these fears, don't be afraid, it's fine.
Let's look at the economic benefits that we foresee happening for us if we are able to eventually transition from the polystyrene products. Has the EPA been able to quantify the economic benefits we're going to get?
Yeah. First of all, our health.
Yeah.
We'll get health benefits. The exposure to some of these carcinogens will be something of the past. The environment will be cleaner. Those who burn the styrofoams, the air quality,
right,
will be a good one for all of us. Aesthetics, tourism issues, the environment. Oh, we will like the environment. It is what? Styrofoam-free environment. And also, sorry, anytime it rains, you will not see the styrofoam floating on the water bodies. You will not get to the beach and you see this styrofoam along the coast. So these are some of the benefits that we'll get. Do you know there are times, those of us who stay in the village, you can be there, then they will tell you a goat has swallowed something.
Yeah.
A goat has swallowed plastic. For that matter, the goat has died.
Yeah.
And after they kill that goat, they will see that plastic in the body of that goat.
Yeah, that's true.
This is what we are referring to. So if these things are out, can't you see the benefits that we are all going to get? So if the environment will be clean, our health will be protected, the flood issue will be reduced, aquatic environment will be cleaner, the beaches will be cleaner, the aquatic animals will not go and eat some of these styrofoam products or polystyrene products and also die. And or we'll be injecting it. I say I like fish, but the fish we are eating, they contain some of this microplastic. which is so harmful. So the benefits that we'll gain, they are enormous.
What will be your final message to Ghanaians watching us?
My final message to Ghanaians is that let's all come on board as Ghanaians are good citizens of Ghana. Let's all come on board and make sure that come 1st January 2027, we completely remove polystyrene products in Ghana. One thing I would like to add before my final word, some people will ask, what of those who use it for medical purposes? Those who use it for research purposes? Those windows are there. If you know that you want to use polystyrene products for research in the academia, for medical process, maybe you want to use it to transport some cold chain, you need to apply to EPA. EPA will give you the approval, the use, and the quantity thereof. So whereby it won't be like you are just importing it in the name of something else. No. So as good citizens of Ghana, the health benefits of polystyrene-free Ghana has been outlined. It's not good for all of us. Let's shift to the alternatives that are environmentally friendly. We can live longer, the environment will be clean, the society that we live in will be cleaner, and the floods will come. However, the impact will reduce drastically. We will not eat fish that will contain some of these products that we are trying to ban. So come 1st January 2027, God willing, let's make sure that we have Ghana free of polystyrene products. Thank you.
Hopefully. Thank you very much. Hope Smith Lomote is the Director of Human Settlement at the Environmental Protection Authority. Thank you for passing by this afternoon.
Thank you too.
In other stories today, the visit to Ghana of Emmanuel Ogwal, who is the Africa Region President of Adventist World Radio, is putting fresh attention on the Seventh-day Adventist Church's contribution to healthcare and national development. His visit comes against the backdrop of the Church's existing partnership with the government of Ghana under the Agenda 111 program, an arrangement that draws on the Adventist Church's long-standing involvement in healthcare delivery and medical missionary work. Beyond the construction and management of health facilities, the partnership raises broader questions about how faith-based organizations can complement government efforts to expand access to quality healthcare, particularly in underserved communities. Emmanuel Ogwal, who is the Africa Region President of the Adventist World Radio, joins us now to discuss the significance of the Agenda 111 partnership, the contribution the Adventist Church hopes to make, and the wider health mission of the Church in Ghana and across Africa. Welcome to the program. What specifically is the Seventh-day Adventist Church expected to contribute to the Agenda 111 partnership, and really how far has the contribution progressed? Hello, Emmanuel, do I have you? You're still watching The Pulse here in Joy News, where we return from the break. We'll bring you more stories. You're welcome back. He traveled to Dubai in search of work and a better life for his family, but his dream turned into a nightmare when his roommate poured acid over him, completely disfiguring his face and leaving severe scars across his body. After several failed attempts to secure justice, 28-year-old Alex Degle returned to Ghana to his wife, 2 children, an aging mother with no means of supporting them. Collins Frimpong has more in our latest feature, Scars from Dubai.
Street, down street.
The man smiling in these photos is Alex Degle. In April 2022, he left Ghana for Dubai in search of work and a better future for his family. The man sitting here today is the same person, but an acid attack left permanent scars across his face and body and brought the life he was building abroad to an abrupt end.
I traveled to Dubai, that was 2022, April, and I went there. And you know, Dubai is a country that is a tough country. You not get there, then you get a job. You have to take it difficult before you can get a job. So I stayed for 8 months before getting a job. And the job I got was a decoration job. So it got to a time I supposed to cancel from that work because my own handwork is a driving work. So I supposed to cancel from the work and go and look for another work. So I went and looked for another work. That was when I went and got a mechanic company.
Alex shared accommodation with Ghanaians and other nationalities, often supporting those without work. One day, he says tension with one Ghanaian housemate, Michael, escalated.
We start exchanging of words. So that was then Michael told me that you see what I'll do to you, I'll show you. I did not take it serious because I know that I did not do anything bad wrong to Michael. So I'm not having any bad intention about him. So the way he told me that I will show you, I did not take it serious.
Alex alleges that the following day, Michael confronted him again. He says the man first attempted to strike him before returning with a clear liquid in a bottle. He later learned it was acid.
That time, because of the heat, so I removed my shirt and hung it on the dryer before I'm in the kitchen cooking. And he came back not knowing he opened the bottle already. So he got near me. I turned my face like this and he just poured it on me. Because I'm not wearing top, he poured it on my face and all my body do like this. Blasio, the man who collected the hammer from him, he was the one who called the ambulance. So the ambulance came and picked me to the hospital. I did not see anything again. So the only thing I see is that I wake up. That was 2024, January ending. And I wake up. So that aspect is my mom that can say something about that. By the time I wake up, the only thing I see is a CID came to me, a policeman came to me, and he brought a picture showing me that, is this the guy who poured the acid on me? And I said, yes, this is the guy. And the CID said, okay, they have arrested him, so I shouldn't worry.
After Alex was discharged from the hospital, the case was referred to the public prosecution in Dubai. He also approached Ghana's mission in the United Arab Emirates for assistance. According to Alex, the mission gave them the contact of a lawyer and provided 2,000 dirham towards legal support. But he says the lawyer did not attend court and later demanded additional 24,000 dirhams for legal expenses. With no money for legal representation, accommodation or food, Alex abandoned the process and returned to Ghana.
The suffering and what we are passing through over there, where to sleep, what to eat, we cannot continue being. So we decided to come back home to Ghana so that maybe we can get help from Ghana, from our leaders. But we came back, I continue calling out for justice. No one is hearing me out.
This unfinished room is now home to Alex, his wife Monica, and their 2 children.
Life is tough because as a family man, and I'm the one taking care of house. Nobody, no family member, nobody. If someone did not see me, support me on the media, then I don't know how to survive. I tell you, and those people come into it and they contributed money for me. And people too saw me and they give me this place that I should stay. So the money they donate for me, that was the money I used for the burger proof and the roofing and ceiling for inside. If you go inside, you can see there is nothing inside. No paint, no tiles, no nothing. If rain is falling, the water, if wind is blowing, the water will be entering the room. There is no washroom, no toilet, no nothing inside the room. So if you go to toilet in the evening or some place, unless you go to the bush. And these children going to the bush at night, including my wife.
Unable to find stable employment, Alex now depends on a motorbike donated to him to work as an Okada rider. It is the family's main source of income. But even as he tries to earn a living, Alex says some passengers avoid him because of his scars.
It's quite tough. It's not all the people that like taking my motor, but the people that know my situation. Though a lot of people too have been seeing me on the media, so they know that it's not the Okada business that did this to me. It's someone who did this to me. So some people do consider me take my motor. Some people too, if they see me, they said they are afraid of me, so they can't take my bike. Some people do see me, then they run away.
Monica says the rejection is painful because her husband is only trying to provide for his family.
Because I say, Nasami Bayan, or Copejuma Bia, or Monfano. Why I say, and soon, what's a minute, Ninsa, Nini Bibia, Jumantin, Mijuma.
What Alex earns each day must provide food and meet the needs of his children. His wife does not currently work. Alex used the little money he had after returning to build this container shop for Monica. But after completing the structure, there was nothing left to stock it.
I finished doing the container. I don't have money to buy goods or things for her to sell inside. The container is just there like that, and rain is beating the container each and every blessed day. So the container is at the roadside, and me myself is the Okada business that I'm doing small to support house, to take care of the children and my mom as well.
Alex says he has also petitioned the United Arab Emirates Embassy in Ghana, the police, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He said he submitted evidence connected to the case and was promised a response, but has not heard from the authorities.
This thing happened 23 December, the time our former president was on power, before this current president. So I can testify that they've heard it. So if they can do something about it, like they will do. So I know that they've heard about my story, but it's just that they don't want to help me. And I can't say anything about it. It's part of life. So I'm just praying that maybe God will help me one day and open some doors for me, because I'm tired.
The acid attack changed Alex's appearance and ended the future he was building abroad. He still has 2 children to raise and a wife to support. He now wants justice for what happened in Dubai and a chance to rebuild his life through stable work. Collins Frimpong, Joy News, Dodoa.
The visit to Ghana of Emmanuel Ogwal, Africa Region President of Adventist World Radio, is putting fresh attention on the 7th-day Adventist Church's contribution to healthcare and national development. His visit comes against the backdrop of the Church's existing partnership with the government of Ghana under the Agenda 111 program, an arrangement that draws on the Adventist Church's long-standing involvement in healthcare delivery and medical missionary work. Beyond the construction and management of health facilities, the partnership raises broader questions about how faith-based organizations can complement government efforts to expand access to quality healthcare, particularly in underserved communities. Well, Emmanuel Ogwal is joining me right now for more on this, to discuss the significance of the Agenda 111 partnership, the contribution the Adventist Church hopes to make, and the wider health mission of the Church in Ghana and across Africa. Welcome to the program, Emmanuel. Do I have you?
Thank you very much for having me.
Right. What specifically is the Seventh-day Adventist Church expected to contribute to the Agenda 111 partnership, And how far has the contribution or collaboration progressed?
Let me start from a pastoral basis. The Bible says in 3 John chapter 1, verse 2, "Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well." Now, this beautiful passage reminds us that God is concerned not only about our spiritual well-being, but also about our physical health and overall welfare. It is on the basis of this that the Seventh-day Adventist Church is getting into a partnership with government under the framework of this Agenda 111 to make a contribution to the healthcare. Now, I speak on behalf of Adventist World Radio, which is the official radio ministry of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And I will be making a contribution on how Adventist World Radio supports this initiative and contributes to this initiative. Regarding the details of the partnership, the top church leadership and the unions in Uganda here, unions are the highest offices of the church in the country, they can comment on. But I would restrict my comments to how radio and media in general comes in to support this endeavor.
Right.
Yes.
Well, the Adventist Church has considerable experience in healthcare delivery globally. What lessons or expertise can it bring to Ghana's health system through this partnership?
Yeah, the Seventh-day Adventist Church stands on a number of pillars as part of the mission. Gospel, most important, education, and there is healthcare. We usually say that health is a very important aspect, is a key pillar in our mission. And we have so many missionary movements around the world. We have so many healthcare institutions all over the world supporting the health needs of the people around the world. We always say that medical mission, which is focused on taking care of health, is the right hand of our mission. We cannot have a good mission. We cannot talk of leading people to Christ when they are not healthy. So health comes in first and foremost. And our interest is not only in the health of the members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, but to everyone that the Lord has sent us to preach to. So before preaching the gospel, it is very important to ensure that the people we are preaching to are healthy. Yes.
Right. Beyond the infrastructure, will the church also be involved in the management, staffing, or delivery of services at any of the Agenda 111 facilities?
The Seventh-day Adventist Church does not only pay lip service when it comes to matters of healthcare. We have so many institutions around the world that are training healthcare professionals who are manning the several hospitals that we have across the globe. And so we are not in shortage of resource people in the healthcare sector. And so under the partnership, definitely we are going to provide resources in terms of human resource in contributing to the execution of this partnership.
And what would you say are the biggest opportunities and possibly challenges in a government faith-based partnership of this nature?
Government provides facilities and huge opportunities where services can be offered. The Seventh-day Adventist Church, if you examine the healthcare system of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, they are rich. We are rich in terms of healthcare.
Right.
We emphasize people being healthy and based on what the Bible says. And we have so many health programs that we even present on our media, in our programming, on the radios and TVs, we make emphasis on healthcare. So there are so many things under the Adventist healthcare systems that I believe the church will be bringing on board in terms of preventing non-communicable diseases. We put a lot of emphasis on eating right, on exercising, on all the things that contribute to good health. And we have an entire system that would be a very big contribution for the church to make to the public as we are part of this Agenda 111.
And as Africa Region President of Adventist World Radio, how does your broadcasting mission support the church's broader work in health, education, and social development across the continent?
When you look at our programming on our radio, but even leaving the radio, if you go to the TV, we have Hope Channel International. In Ghana here, we have Hope Channel Ghana.
Right.
If you look at Adventist World Radio, we have a radio station in Kumasi. We have a radio station at Valley View University. We are here to establish more radio stations. But if you look at the objectives of our broadcast, health takes a very important part of it. We believe that there are so many health situations, health challenges that can be prevented if people are educated enough. And because of that, in our programming, health is one of the key things that we focus on in our programming. So in our programming, you will find we are educating the masses about prevention of diseases, about proper nutrition, about exercise, about the things that you need to do on a proactive basis as a way of keeping diseases away. But in the event that the health has failed, we also have means of intervening. That's why we have the hospitals on how health can be restored. And we're not doing this out of the vacuum. A healthy church means also the mission of the Lord is healthy. And why are we doing all this? We know that the ultimate restoration of humankind, the ultimate healing, will be with the coming of our Lord. The Seventh-day Adventist Church talks about the second coming of Jesus Christ. And when we keep healthy, when we restore people's health, we are talking about a grand restoration which will come at a certain time. But it is not lost on us that we are still in the world. We don't want to live as if we are only hoping for the world to come, but we've ignored where we are currently. And so that's why in our programming, we use our radio stations, we use our media to educate the masses on the importance of good health.
All right, Pastor Emmanuel Ogwal, thank you very much for your time this evening. He is the Africa Region President of the Adventist World Radio. Tomatoes, mostly a must-have ingredient in many Ghanaian meals, remain in high demand, but local production has struggled to keep pace with consumption, increasing the country's reliance on imports. According to the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Ghana spends at least $168 million annually on tomato imports. The council, which disclosed this at a Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation Visibility webinar series held under the theme CSIR's interventions on tomato and ginger, also noted demand for ginger has increased significantly from 18,000 tons in 2020 to between 30 and 32,000 metric tons in 2025, with the country relying heavily on imported ginger. The CSIR is calling for increased domestic production. Joy News Research has been analyzing international data which shows the scale of Ghana's dependence on imported tomatoes, particularly from Burkina Faso. In 2024 alone, Ghana imported fresh tomatoes worth more than $22 million from Burkina Faso. And joining me right now is Maxwell Akufo-Addo. He's a member of the Joy News research team, and he has been explaining the data. Listen.
When you look at the data, it actually paints a very interesting picture of how we import or we depend on tomatoes, imported tomatoes as a country. In fact, Ghana, as of 2024, we have a sufficiency level of tomatoes of 38%, which means of all the tomatoes that we consume in the country as a nation, 38% of that total tomatoes is what we produce locally, which means the over 60% that is left is actually imported. Why this? Because when you look at our tomatoes, our demand, what we demand as a nation, because the wache seller needs to prepare her stew.
That's your favorite meal.
Exactly. So, in fact, we demand 1.3 million metric tons of tomatoes, and of these 1.3 million, our local production only stands at 504,000 metric tons, and the rest, which is a shortfall of 795,000, needs to be imported because the wache salad needs to, as I said, it needs to prepare the shito and then the stew. But in fact, let's look at Ghana's 2024 tomato importation. Of these, tomatoes, we have the fresh and then the package, the sachet tomatoes, or the paste. So we have fresh tomatoes. We imported $22 million, which means, as you rightly said, most of them are from Burkina Faso. And then the processed tomatoes, we did $77 million. And in fact, let's look at the trend from 2018 to 2024. MFR, if you see 2024, we are doing about $100 million when we talk of the importation. But for the rest, I'll show you data which is very interesting, which has to do with our ranking in Africa. But 2018, we were first in the whole of Africa when it comes to importing tomatoes. And
when you said first, I almost thought we were producing and we're first. Okay, you had my attention over there.
Exactly. So in 2018, we were doing $61 million. But 2024, which we became first again, when you look at this, in fact, 2024, which we became first again, we were doing around $100 million. So in fact, in 2018, we were first in importation, which is not good. In 2019, we dropped a bit, which is good. Yeah. 2020, we improved. 2021, we dropped, but not that huge. 2022 and then 2023, we saw a big standstill there. But in 2024, we came back to the first.
That's sharp. From 2023, we were 20th.
Exactly.
Then in 2024, we went back to first. That's like really...
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what you can see in the background. Yeah. So, in fact, it's kind of a bit worrying when it comes to what we produce versus what we import.
We also visited the market where traders shared their experiences with the current supply and prices of tomatoes.
na say no near tono 5,050 million adaka no say the swati about 30 million and so cry and talk ya buy na nsan ne onbehu se niam egu ho sa ye nto sika ni krom say ama ade to no e ko fom kra se anto sin ne bu ayede ya to wan so sika so ni krom say anipa no pa ade no kro ni ahom ye ode beto say awi ase ayede
ebi free adan and ebi so free igbe and I be so free Abidjan. They say I no more craft free ba. And in Tosunu, yeah, them say it is one better. Now so it is to say is say it is no munto. Omunto adie. Omu my bread do.
Oh, sisi adie ginger no de. Aba form kakra ba. Ye hia aban boa. Sisi a local ginger. Na ya fa eye. Ba China ginger no. Enu mom na abe sai bibia enu. Ufa within 3 days now pressure. We 30 cedi. We 100 cedi. Kunko no 15200. Oh, a bra ginger wa idea. We say ya tomato no 20 Ghana.
Well, residents in parts of the Upper East and Savannah regions are already bracing for the impact of the expected spillage of the Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso. We join news checks in some affected communities revealing some farmers rushing to harvest crops as they fear their farms could be submerged, potentially worsening post-harvest losses. The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has already advised residents and farmers along the White and Black Volta basins to move to higher ground as authorities prepare for the impact. We'll hear from NADMO shortly, but first listen to some of the farmers joining us engaged on the ground.
Right now we are standing here. You just look at the corn. It's not even yet now. So it is problems for us. Like they for with the water small so that the time that we can harvest, then they open the water. But I don't even know. I don't even have any strong to do. If government can help us to do something to survive what we are doing here, it will be better.
But we have no any other place that we can go and do the farming apart from the river banks. If the government can build a multi-purpose dam to help us, fine. If the government cannot build the dam now for us, the only thing is to get machines on loan to some of the farmers who think they can farm, because the water is not far from where we are standing now.
We can now hear from the Upper East Regional Director of NADMO, Rebecca Kolgo, who says that she has been charging residents in vulnerable communities to take the necessary precautions and relocate to safer areas.
Our main focus is on mitigation, is on preparedness, public safety, and effective coordination. And we are ensuring that we embark on community sensitization, public education. We have educated farmers along the White Volta to immediately evacuate to higher grounds for safety. We have also educated residents along the White Volta to also evacuate to higher grounds for safety. NADMO, in collaboration with key stakeholders in the vulnerable communities, that is the flood-prone communities, have been able to secure temporal stretches such as safe havens that will be used as temporal shelters for people who may be affected by possible flooding. Currently, we are assessing the situation, keenly monitoring the situation, and strengthening preparedness in the flood-prone communities to ensure that when the village occurs, we will have a minimal impact.
Let's still stay in northern Ghana because the Wa West or East District Assembly has officially handed over sites for the construction of modern educational infrastructure worth more than 2 million cedis in the Katua and Goripo communities. The projects aimed at directly addressing the district's severe infrastructure deficit include a fully furnished 3-unit classroom block in Katua and a 2-unit kindergarten block in Goripi. The district chief executive, Adamu Saibu, noted that the initiative is a deliberate policy to retool educational facilities and reverse declining academic performance.
In Wa East, the assembly has handed over land for 2 new school blocks, 1.5 million cedis for a 3-unit classroom block in Katwa, 750,000 cedis for a new KG in Gorupie. The goal, fix a broken infrastructure and fix fallen grades. What is District Chief Executive Adamu Saibu says they want the people first because good schools start with the community.
Our infrastructure is becoming dilapidated across the district. So we have taken it upon ourselves. It's a deliberate policy for us to renovate a number of schools and build new ones for our communities. This is what we can do as government. Then when we do that, then we have to now collaborate with the PTA and the community member to make sure the children enrolled in the schools. And then GS as a partner also make sure that the schools are staffed with competent teachers.
In Katwa, junior school learners have been learning in the same rooms as primary pupils. No space to breathe, let alone think. The new block comes with a mechanized borehole, officers, and modern toilets.
Besides, this project is not only about the classrooms. We have done a number of them without furniture, and we have seen that it didn't help us a lot. So this one will come with what? Furniture. So when it's completed, we expect that the contractor will construct furniture and come and fix them in the school before we can hand it over. So this is the additional thing that we are doing, and I think the government need to be applauded for thinking this way.
Human Resource Director at WES, Mohamed Damba Issa, says the congestion has been holding the kids back, and he is thanking the MP, Dr. Godfrey Seydou Jassau, for years of support.
Helping us to organize mock exams, providing learning materials, and the list is very tall. We cannot mention all of them here. So what I want to say is that, MP, thank you very much. Even though you have done a lot for us, we still want to say that we need more support. There is a Nigerian proverb who says that a father does not do enough for a child. So MP, we need more support from you.
In Gurupie, the current KG is falling apart, not fit for 4-year-olds. The new one will have hexagonal furniture, changing rooms, KBIPs, and a gated fence to keep the little ones safe. District Engineer Atta Akyea says these are not just blocks, they are built for safety and dignity.
We will not just build the whole facility and we will leave it. The head teacher would also get a table, a chair, and visitor's chair. Again, the other offices, 2-unit office, will be fully furnished with tables and chair.
The contractor says he's not here to play. 6 months was the deadline. He's aiming for 3. Contractor Abubakar Suleiman Watara is promising quality and speed, rain permitting.
We are pledging that in 3 months' time, God willing, we will be able to complete it and hand it over to the assembly.
For the community, it is more than cement. It is hope, and they are promising to guard it. Katwa Assembly member Jato Osman says education is development, and they will protect the project.
The indigents or the children, when they grow up with education, if they are educated, they will be able to also, in their own small way, develop their various households, thereby making every household to be able to manage their own households challenges.
2.3 million cities can buy blocks and roofing, but here in Katwa and Gurupie, it is buying something bigger. Dignity for the classroom. No more sharing, no more leaking roofs. In 6 months, these kids will walk into a school that was built for them. If we keep putting the child at the center, then development stops being a figure and starts being a face. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Gurupie.
Management officials from the Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program have visited the Nkasem community in the Ahafo region to update residents on preparations for the inauguration of the local mining site under the program. The team reaffirmed President Mahama's commitment to legalizing and streamlining small-scale mining to protect water bodies and forests while driving local economic growth. Here's a report by Emmanuel Ejujemfi.
The program serves as Ghana's national blueprint to reform artisanal mining, built on 4 pillars: cooperative formation, shared processing facilities, environmental restoration, and alternative livelihoods. The program replaces informal digging with legal, structured groups operating modern water recycling equipment. The delegation assured the people of Ahafo that all regulatory documentation is complete and that key state institutions have visited the site.
Community
we want to assure the chiefs and youth of the same that every single permit.
The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, in the northern region has deployed a rapid response unit in anticipation of the planned spillage of the Barry Dam. The Chief Disaster Control Officer for the region, Idrisu Abubakari Ziblim, said NADMO had also identified safe locations to accommodate residents in the event of an evacuation.
Managers of the Bagri Dam in Burkina Faso have informed Ghanaian authorities of plans to release water from the dam on the 11th of August, although the dam has not been spilled yet due to reduction in rainfall. Officials in the northern region said contingency plans are already in place to manage any potential flooding. According to the Chief Disaster Control Officer for the region, 4 districts in the region are most at risk from the spillage.
In preparedness, we have informed all communities living along the White Water Basin, especially in the northern region. We have 4 endemic districts that are the Tolong district, the Kumbungo district, we have the Savulgo municipal, and then the Karga municipal environs. These areas, there are so many communities that are dotted along the White Water Basin. For example, in Kumugo, we have 15 communities that live along the White Water Basin. Tolong, we have 17 communities. Savulgo Municipal, we have 21 communities. And then the Karga Municipal, we have 15 communities. All these communities have been alerted through the local FM stations over there, and then community engagement by our zonal disaster volunteer and district staff.
He said the region has also positioned a rapid response team and identified safe zones to house residents if evacuation becomes necessary.
Coupled with the management, the 51 Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces, in collaboration with the national headquarters, are pre-positioning a rapid response team who are going to be based in the West Mampusi, that is Wale Wale, with their advert motors, to make sure that they take care of the maroon areas in the terms of inundation and communities that are supposed to be cut off within the urban centers. So, in a nutshell, these are the preparedness level that we have put in place so that at the end of the day, we may have a 0 casualty within this year.
Northeast Regional Director of NADMO, Tahiru Rafiu, said 3 districts would be the most affected in the Northeast region.
We have 3 major districts which are largely affected. And then when you are coming down the community level, if you take the high-risk district, which is West Mampusi Municipality, we are talking about communities like Pasimpe, DBC, Bimbini, Yama, Janga, Nasia, and so on and so forth. Then the next after West Mampusi is Mampurugu Mokduri district. And we are also talking about communities like Yagba, Lovri, Zanwara. We are talking about Kubori. We are talking about EZC, Tantala, and so on and so forth. And the last district, which is also East Mampusi district, that is around Nalergu, Gambaga, and Dems. So these are the high-risk areas that we usually concentrate on.
A pressure group calling itself the People's Alliance for Governance and Accountability, PAGA, is demanding an immediate investigation by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, into the Ghanaian side of the AXA energy bribery case. The group says Ghana cannot leave the matter entirely to the United States after former Goldman Sachs banker Asante Kweku-Beko went on trial in New York over alleged payments to Ghanaian officials. Convener of the group, Daniel Otin-Ewa, says the OSP has the legal mandate and investigative powers to trace funds, obtain documents, and identify any Ghanaian officials who may have been complicit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we call on the Office of the Special Prosecutor to immediately investigate the Ghanaian dimension of the ASCA bribery scandal. the OSP was established precisely to investigate and prosecute corruption and corruption-related offenses involving public officials and politically exposed persons, and to recover the proceeds of the said corruption. This matter falls squarely within that mandate. We therefore see no justification whatsoever for leaving the matter principally with the Attorney General, when Ghana has a specialized independent anti-corruption institution with the statutory mandates and investigative powers to pursue same. The OSP has the legal powers to obtain documents, trace funds, compel financial information, freeze suspected proceeds of corruption, and pursue those responsible. More importantly, the OSP has acknowledged providing investigative and evidentiary assistance to the U.S. through Ghana's Mutual Legal Assistance Framework, and the U.S. Department of Justice has recognized Ghana's assistance in the prosecution. The OSP, who is paid and heavily resourced with the taxpayers' money of this country, cannot help investigate the case of the United States and then become a delightful spectator when the Ghanaian dimension comes into view. The AXA allegations were not born with the U.S. proceedings. Former special prosecutor, the Leonard Martin Amidou, had previously, as far back as April of 2020, raised concerns about the Aska Energy transaction. Ghana, therefore, had reason to act long before a United States conviction brought the matter into public focus. The United States has investigated, prosecuted, and secured a conviction. The question now is, what's exactly Ghana doing?
Did you know Nelson Mandela's parents did not name him as Nelson Mandela? He was Rolihlahla Mandela. The name Nelson was given to South Africa's first democratically elected president by his teacher on his first day at school. According to the Nelson Mandela Foundation, giving African children English or Christian names was common at the time, reflecting the colonial education system in which African names were often difficult for European teachers to pronounce. That is one of the fascinating stories Maxwell Agbagba discovered during a visit to the Nelson Mandela capture site in South Africa.
It is the 5th of August, 1962. Nelson Mandela is traveling along this road disguised as a chauffeur. He has been moving across Africa building support for the struggle against apartheid. But on this stretch of road, his journey is interrupted. Mandela is captured by the police. He will spend the next 27 years in prison. Today, the spot where that journey was abruptly halted has been transformed into the Nelson Mandela capture site.
After 27 years, his head was high and his fist was clenched. Nelson Mandela walked out of Victor Verster prison today.
Before he became Madiba, before he became South Africa's first democratically elected president, and long before his name became synonymous with freedom around the world, he was simply a young boy called Rolihlahla Mandela. Nelson was not the name his father gave him. It was given to him by his primary school teacher on his first day at school. And here, our tour guide takes me through the story.
His name was not Nelson. When he started school, he went to a mission school, and his teacher could not write Holy Shasha, and she couldn't spell it as well. So she actually gave him or christened him with Nelson. So that is how we got the name Nelson.
Okay, great. My tour guide lived through years of apartheid and witnessed South Africa's transition to democracy. She shares her personal experience for those defining years and what the country's journey to freedom meant for her.
It was very interesting because, I mean, when we transformed from apartheid to democracy, I mean, we would sing the freedom songs where we would say, "Free Mandela," when we were at university, and to us, yes, we believed in it. We took it very far. We didn't think that it will happen in our lifetime. was elected into becoming the first South African president, and that happened in my lifetime. So it was amazing. I mean, those are the stories that I always share with tourists that I meet, and even with my family as well, with my kids, with my grandkids. Those are the stories that I will always share.
That this year, all of us will, at last, achieve our emancipation.
Long before Mandela became president, before his release and before apartheid finally fell, he came to Ghana. In April 1962, just months before his capture, Mandela arrived in Accra on a clandestine mission seeking support for the armed struggle against apartheid. Ghana, under Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, had already become a symbol of African independence. For Mandela, Ghana offered something more than diplomatic support. It was a glimpse of what an independent Africa could look like. When Mandela returned to Ghana decades later, he described Ghana as a place that had become a second home to him in 1962. He also recalled the inspiration he and other African freedom fighters drew from Nkrumah's vision of a united and independent Africa. Today, the name Nelson Mandela carries a weight that his teacher could never have imagined when she gave it to him as a schoolboy. But perhaps the most important name is the one he was born with, Roli Hlahla, a name his father gave him, a name whose colloquial meaning is often translated as troublemaker. From South Africa, Maxwell Ababa.
Away from South Africa, let's take you to Germany, where that country is bracing for a wave of Russian-backed disinformation ahead of critical state and local elections this September. In an operation dubbed Atta Akyea, or Overload, more than 180 fake social media posts have been uncovered targeting political candidates with false accusations ranging from corruption to sexual misconduct. Well, for more on this, I've been joined by Thomas Sparrow. He's our correspondent with our partners DW in Berlin. Thomas, what exactly is this operation and how are these fake posts being created and distributed?
Three main goals of this operation, Matryoshka or Overload, that's what it's being called. The first one is to discredit, the second one is to divide, the third one is to overwhelm. When you're talking about discrediting, it's mostly discrediting politicians from the center of the political spectrum, from different parties, both at a local and a national level, with everything from corruption to misconduct to even sexual allegations and murder as well. Interestingly, experts found that the parties in the political extremes, so the far left and the far right, were basically spared from this operation, and that has to do with the fact that those two extremes are normally closer to Russia than the parties in the middle of the political spectrum. That's one point. The second element, to divide, specifically the posts that were found are saying that Germany is again basically divided as it was before the Berlin Wall fell, and that politicians are trying to divide Germany even more, so dividing and polarizing. And the third element, to overwhelm, has to do with the fact that most of these posts do not necessarily have organic reach that is noticeable, but the amount of posts that are being found and that are being spread is so high that the goal there is to overwhelm both fact-checkers and journalists and also social media users. They are being spread mostly on platforms like X, Blue Sky and TikTok.
Right. And Thomas, what evidence points to Russian state involvement, and how does this fit into Moscow's broader strategy ahead of Germany's 2026 elections?
So one element that experts have found, that have pointed to, is the fact that this operation bears the same hallmarks as previous operations that have been found in Europe ahead of important elections. So, for example, mimicking reputable media organizations. Most of the posts found here have the same, or at least very similar look and feel to the videos that are posted by reputable media organizations, including DW. So this is called media spoofing, which is a traditional way of disinformation that we've seen in previous Russian-backed disinformation campaigns. The second element is that when you look at the actual content of these, and we've been able to look at several of these in the fact-checking team at DW, is that there are translations from Russian. So if you look at, for example, some of the parties with their acronyms, they've been translated not from the German acronym to English, but from the Russian acronym. And that is basically something that experts say points again to Russian involvement. Now, Russian organizations and the Russian government in particular have often, also in the past, denied any involvement with these kind of disinformation campaigns. But experts here in Germany, the government as well, think that it's part of a broader Russian campaign or Russian-backed campaign of hybrid warfare, and that part of that is trying to destabilize voters through these disinformation campaigns and also present an image of a divided, polarized Germany to other countries around the world.
And how are German authorities responding, and what can voters do to support and resist this kind of influence operations?
So basically, both experts but also the government are very much aware that ahead of important elections, and the elections that are coming up in September are very important from a regional and from a national perspective, specifically because it could mean that for the very first time the AfD, so the far-right party alternative for Germany, could end up leading one of Germany's regions. So that's why these elections are particularly relevant. And for the German government and for experts as well, this is clear that ahead of these elections, there is a potential for this kind of disinformation and for these kinds of disinformation campaigns. So they're raising awareness, especially for people in those affected regions, but also making sure that from a national perspective, from a government perspective, they can tackle disinformation and they can tackle any content that is also deemed illegal. What voters can do and what users can do more broadly is try and identify the patterns. So, for example, when we talk about media spoofing, so mimicking reputable media organizations, is always to double-check in the media organizations themselves if the information has been posted. Also, for example, when it comes to these very harsh allegations against politicians, including corruption, sexual misconduct, and even murder. So double-check is something that experts, disinformation experts, but also authorities have been telling people to check, especially ahead of important events. By the way, not only here in Germany, in other parts of Europe and around the world, especially when it comes to elections, there's an increase in disinformation and disinformation patterns. So that's why users are advised to be more aware, specifically when these very important events are happening.
Thomas Sparrow with our partners DW in Berlin. Thank you very much, Thomas. That's it for The Pulse this evening. For more news, remember you can always log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Kenneth Jesse. The news team returns at 7 p.m. with News Prime. Have a good evening.